Annoyed with those restaurants who throw away day-old noodles? Disgusted by chefs who use old meats and poor seasonings? Well, we at Trans Noodles heard your complaints loud and clear. And we're reopening! We pride ourselves now on using only the fresher ingredients, seasoning all meats with our premium spice blend of salt and pepper. Smell the broth exquisite, filled with flavor of bouillon cubes. We locally source our meats through Jack Conway. Just listen to these stellar reviews. It's definitely better than it was before. I mean, it could be worse. I miss the old noodles. So crispy. Try the special meat. It's divine from what I've had. Well, there you have it, folks. Why don't you try Trans Noodles and taste the difference today? Trans Noodles open Monday through Sunday, 12 to 5.
Sup, chumps? Just kidding, just fooling around.
Gotta knock these bozos' wieners off.
Some sort of beast has entered our boat.
Tina, for the love of God, turn away or stop!
From the Great North to Wonder Wharf. All right.
Hey everyone, and welcome to a brand new episode from the Great North to Wonder Wharf, the podcast by fans for the fans. As always, I am your host, Mike.
And I'm your host, JB.
How you doing, JB?
I mean, I can't complain. It's a nice Monday. It's nice out, no rain, so why not? Perfect day for podcasting.
Oh, it's a perfect day for podcasting. So as you can tell, there's a little different this week. We have some things we need to address on the show, some new things that we're going to be doing, some changes that are coming to the show, all exciting stuff that we want to bring to you, and things we'll address right off the top here.
Yes.
All right. So as you can tell, there's clearly only two hosts. Myself and JB going forward will be the hosts from the Great North to Wonder Wharf. We want to thank KSK for everything he's done for the show and everything that he continues to do for the show. He'll still be part of future interviews that you'll see, and we hope to work with him again in the future. But going forward, it'll just be JB and I as the host for the show.
We appreciate that everything that Hawk did for us. He still is ultimately an amazing friend, and we're very glad to have had him here. And we just wish him the best with his upcoming projects. Of course, not going to say anything, but we wish him the best, and we can't wait to see what he does. And I know it's going to be great. All right, everyone. And with this new start of From North to Wharf, we have to start with kind of addressing all the changes that we are going to be making, all the new content, new things that we have planned for you. And we hope you all enjoy them all. We've put quite a lot of work into these ideas, but now it's time to make them real, as they say. So what we'd like to start off with, I know no pressure for us at all. But what you've probably seen at the beginning is like the new commercials. We're actually going to have a lot of new fake commercials for different places from either Great North, Duncanville, Central Park, and Bob's. We're going to try to come up with all kinds of different 10 to 15 second original bits about different commercials. And they're going to hopefully be funny and goofy. And of course, we always could use voice actors. So if you have a skill, let us know down below, and we'd be more than welcome to take a look at what voices you can do and offer you a spot on a commercial if it'll help.
Absolutely.
We're excited for those. We're also going to do some reoccurring skits. I think we're going to showcase one at some point this episode about a reoccurring bit that we have. And there's actually quite a few of them that we have coming out, but we just wanted to start with one and build some hype around that one. Let's see what else we got. Fan of the week is going to change just a tad, and we'll get to that a little bit later, what that looks like. but it's going to be more fan involvement. We want it to be more like getting to be on the show, getting to be part of an interview and ask your questions to the guest face to face, well, Zoom to Zoom, but still pretty cool. Get to ask them and they'll totally be honest with you, and you get to have that awesome experience of meeting someone that you may look up to in the animation industry or a bento. Let's see what else we got going on. Mike, what else do you think we have going on?
And this stuff we'll get into later in the show too, but we'll have a new segment called Art Crawl. Again, we'll explain a little more on that a little later. And I'm not sure if you were teasing the same thing that I'm thinking, but we do have a big reoccurring skit that we'll actually be teasing on Instagram later, with the help of our good buddy Chris, who lent some of his work to that. I don't want to say anything because I don't want to give it away right now, but it's something that we're both very excited about. And if you, here's a tease, if you grew up in the early to mid 90s, this is right up your alley and you're absolutely going to love it.
The music should be iconic.
Ooh, it's iconic music with a From North to Wharf twist on it.
Yes.
That much I'll say. Yes.
Oh, and how could I forget the new song, our intro song?
Oh, yeah. Yes, we now have an intro song.
We have an intro song.
You didn't realize this 5 minutes ago. We do.
We do have an intro song, and we have a lovely little voice work at the end. So thank you, Jose, for making that possible.
Absolutely. Very lucky that he lent his voice sounds to us. So thank you.
But I'm sure there's going to be more stuff. So keep checking our Instagram, keep checking up on us on Facebook and other platforms. We're probably going to post little tidbits or little outtakes. We're also going to start posting some outtakes from the interviews, things that just didn't make the cut, but are still amazing and should be seen and heard. So yeah, just keep checking us out on social media. We hope to surprise you with some of the things that we have coming out.
And even though we've done this show for about 7 episodes at this point, this is a new iteration, so things are going to be a little slow out the gate, but we're definitely going to catch up real fast. And don't worry, there isn't going to be a lull in the content. We know where we're going, we know what we want to do, and trust me and JB are working around the clock to make this work for us.
So if you have any comments, let us know too. So, all my North to Wharfers, without further ado, let's start with a new segment, well, an updated segment. Let's get to the news.
Thanks, JB. Mike here with the news. As of a couple days ago, when you're seeing this, the Instagram and the Twitter for Housebroken, the new show from Bento Box, has been very active. There have been posts, just stills from the show, and we've also got a couple profile little mini videos of Chico the cat, Honey, who's one of the dogs, and Chief, who's also one of the other dogs on the show as well. Just small little things for folks to get used to the characters that will be coming up. And again, Housebroken premieres May 31st on Fox, so be on the lookout for that. On that note, JB, what do you got for us?
Well, Mike, let me see what I have here in my notes. Let's see here. Yes, this just came in actually a little bit of last week. Duncanville has actually been already renewed for its 3rd season without even airing its 2nd season, which makes me think, how amazing must season 2 be? If they're just like, yeah, let's do more.
We haven't even seen it, and they already got the green light.
Nope, green lit. Total congrats to the Duncanville staff, writers, everybody. I mean, it's just awesome to get renewed for a 3rd season without even airing your 2nd. Totally cool. So just again, in case you wanted to know, Duncanville will be premiering May 23rd. So probably, a week before Housebroken. So that should be our solid summer lineup.
Absolutely. And if I'm not mistaken, that may do it for the news this week. JB, do you have anything else you'd like to add?
No, I'm drawing a blank. No one's handing me anything else. We're good.
Okay, fair enough. No breaking news. So on that note, from JB and myself From North to Wharf News, we're going to send it back to Mike and JB from North to Wharf. So we'll see you next week, guys.
Do your thing.
Thanks, Mike and JB, for all that breaking news. We'll see you again next week. All right.
They do such a good job.
They do a great job. I think we'll keep them on.
They clean up nice.
I definitely like that Mike kid. He's got a thing for hats, and you know me, I love me a good hat. So. All right. Well, let's jump back into the show, shall we, JB?
Yes, let's jump back into this. So, since the news is now over, let's head into a new segment, which we're going to do, which was the release the spoilers, the official kind of episode recaps that we're going to be doing. So, should we start off with the new Bob's episode?
I think that's a good place to start as any.
So, let's go ahead and jump in here with a little synopsis of this episode. Do you remember the title?
I do.
Go ahead.
Fingers Loose.
Yeah, the Footloose pun.
Absolutely. The synopsis, of course, Tina faces a crisis as hall monitor when she finds a new passion for an underground trend at Wagstaff that Mr. Fron is out to stop. Bob and Linda try to help Teddy sneak food into a movie theater. That's the B storyline.
So that's the synopsis for you guys. I really enjoyed this episode. It's also directed by our upcoming guest, Simon Chong. So he just posted some of his, he does a little bit of artwork that has to do with his team. And he was able to do that where they're all doing the fingers on a cardboard box together. It's really cool. And I'm sure he did that all custom because that's what Simon does. So it's just really cool that he's able to do that for his team. And I know he's super excited for this one. He gave like a little snippet on Instagram. It's just like, because you asked so nicely, just gave it. So who knows, maybe we keep asking Simon nicely about the movie. Maybe he'll drop something for us.
He'll give us a little snippet of the movie.
Yeah. Oh, since you asked so well.
So what were your initial thoughts? We won't go into details just yet, but what are your initial thoughts on the episode as a whole? My
initial thoughts was, at first when I saw it as the concept where they started showing them doing the dancing with the fingers, I was a little like, I don't know about this. But then the songs are really solid, and it's actually a really cool way to tell a story because it's like Tina Noir, and she's like writing it in her diary. It's just really cool. So I actually really enjoyed this one a lot. Thought it was one of the better ones of this season for sure.
I am a bit torn. It'd be a little controversial, maybe not. I liked the episode as a whole. I liked Tina being the narrator of the overall episode. Kind of like, like a noir, Tarantino-esque vibe from that, which I really dug. The story in general, I really dug. For some reason, it weirds me out to see people do things with their hands to make it seem like it's a mini person. That weirds me out. It always has. So the whole time I'm just going, maybe this is just me being weird about it, but I couldn't. And that's like 90% of the episode. So I'm like, oh, I need to get comfortable real fast with this. I just, it was weird to me. Not bad, but like when you bite into ice cream and you have that sensation.
I don't know.
Yeah, I was like, I don't know why this seems bad. But this is, or not bad, but I don't know why this is uncomfortable, but it's uncomfortable for me.
I think at first I was kind of thrown off by it, but then I was like, oh, I'll welcome this. It's kind of interesting. It's kind of reminded me of those like tech deck boards that people used to have and the bikes and stuff. It was like that. And they had a lot of interesting callbacks, like with Millie doing like her as Louise. And then I just loved that Louise had this top hat she made, and it would be like kind of like a Night at the Apollo, like based on how well you liked this, put candy and stuff in the hat, and Rudy just gets like a quarter and some candy, and like no one respects him.
It was very much played like, at least in my eyes, like a burlesque show. Like you would have like, and the dancer comes out and she does her thing, or he does his thing. I know it's called Finger Loose, and it's a play on Footloose, of course. For those of you old enough to know the Kevin Bacon movie, not that remake they did a couple of years ago. But it seemed more like The Departed or Goodfellas, where you had someone as a law enforcement person kind of get on the inside of like a crime syndicate of sorts, like Matt Damon in The Departed. And I saw it more like that than a Footloose type thing, but maybe that was just me.
No, definitely the title of the the episode plays it off to be a little more like Footloose, but it was more because it's like that band thing where they were banned to dance, so it's like they're banned to do the finger dancing.
Yeah.
So I get that part, but yeah, it definitely played more like LA Noire the game, or those old mystery movies where like the guy's just like a detective. Like the Archer did that season where they kind of did that, where Archer was a detective. It played a lot like that, but of course with Tina and just doing like and her usual stuff, which is great. So I mean, I liked the narration part. I guess the only way it could have gotten better for me is if it was in black and white.
That would have been perfect. Yeah, if it was cut between like two different worlds, like maybe the crime dancing world was maybe in color,
And Bob and Linda,
yeah,
it could be cool. I did like Bob and Linda's side story too. I liked that Teddy was going back out on a date. I was happy for that. And I love that he was trying to sneak in a burger. And they said the last time he did it, he literally just had it behind his back.
Now, this is something I noticed, and maybe this is controversial. And if so, we'll cut this out. But this seems to be, and I need to preface this by saying, I love Bento. I love Bob's. I love the writers. I love everything they do. This seems to be another version of the Spice Rack, Spice Ups story.
It's another Linda Bob competition.
Yeah, which is fine. It's great. It just seems like it was Spice Rack, Spice Ups, but now it's burgers. But no, I love that storyline. I love when Teddy needs help and they try to help him, but then they just overwhelm him and he kind of just freaks out and just kind of, I don't want to do it anymore. I don't want you guys to fight. Please stop.
Probably reminded him of his parents for one, because I just watched the hoarding episode yesterday and I was like, oh, that makes sense. I also liked the little callbacks that they did with Bob and Linda, though. The armpit thing for her hair when she couldn't shave due to that rash. And then also Bob's horrible tape jobs. Because literally everything he taped in there with multiple pieces just kept falling. So it was like a nod back to the boat episode with Tina.
What did you think of Gene being the one who actually ratted everyone out?
I thought it was an interesting twist.
I understood his motives, but I didn't. I guess because Gene wants the spotlight, but the only way I could see him not wanting that is if it messed with his eating habits, which I guess
that made sense.
That's what ended up happening. But
I think he was also a little upset because usually Louise will manipulate the two of them and get something she wants regardless. They don't seem to mind. But it seemed like Jean actually understood what was happening and was like, she was getting rich off of this. Because she's like $4 to $5 a day doing this. And all the candy she really wanted. So Jean was getting something out of it with the attention and some stuff, but Louise was really making bank. And he's just like, yeah, but it wasn't what I wanted.
Is this, do you see this as a turn for Gene to where he's not going to be as attention seeking? Like now that he got all the attention and he realized maybe this isn't as glamorous as I wanted to, or as long as it doesn't mess with his lunch, he's not going to care.
I think the lunch thing really played a big role for him because I'm sure they could have done a whole song bit of all the stuff he missed eating. And it would have been hilarious to listen to as the food items danced behind him. But I think that played a big role in this. But also maybe Gene is ready to take a little bit of a step back in all of that spotlight because he does do a lot of things that get him a lot of attention. And maybe he's just kind of like, that's enough for now.
Interesting. I don't know if I can handle a toned down Gene, because even the last shot of the episode where Luis tells Gene, go up there, do your thing, and he's like, no, I'm just gonna hold back. I'm gonna use my fingers for this, and he gives Tina a round of applause. That was more reserved than I've ever seen Gene when it comes to potentially performing or being asked to perform. It was jarring a little, at least for me.
That's not like him. Like I'm thinking of like the casino and the basement. He was like their manager, and then he was the singer for the Cutie Patooties. I mean, he's the whole one where he's little quiet Eli and not quiet at all. Like he's usually a spotlight guy, beef squatch, all that stuff. But this was a little different where he was really like, I had my moment. I'm good now. I don't need any more attention. I'd rather give it to somebody else.
Yeah, and it wasn't. It's not even the sentiment. Like he has no problem letting somebody have the spotlight when it's theirs, but I think it was Eugene's delivery of the line. It was kind of like one of those, like, you know what, I'm good, and very subdued. And I don't expect that, or yeah, I don't ever expect that from Gene. So it was a jarring change, at least for me.
It was a little different, but
yeah. And whether or not that's a future change, I mean, we'll see, obviously, but it was different.
What would you give this burger wise out of our 5 burger rating scale?
That we definitely discussed. I'm going to give this, because of the weird hand thing that I have, I can go no higher than 3.3.
Okay. All right.
Out of 5.
All right.
And for what it's worth, 3 is my lucky number, so that's a pretty good rating.
All right.
What
I'm going to go
about you?
with about a 4. I liked it a lot. It's up there, but 5s are for select. And the more that people watch this, they're going to hear us get into what these 5 out of 5 burger episodes are. And that's when that's when we really want to have fans of the week jump on and debate us on it. We'd love to have that kind of discussion. Because I'm willing to listen and be swayed. Because everyone has their reasons for liking things and their episodes that they choose, but we're going to tear apart variety.
Oh yeah, that is something we will get into. We'll explain that a little later for sure. If you could explain to me why I shouldn't be weirded out by the hand thing, I'd love to hear it in the comment section below. But that alone, it weirds me out and I can't get past. Maybe I'm just a child about it.
Well, I think it works really well for animation because they have 4 fingers.
Yeah, I was at home trying to do it. I was like, where the heck do I put my thumb? How do I do this? How are they doing that? I can't do it.
Well, that was another. We'll end this mini little recap with the line that Millie gave Mr. Frond, where he's just like, "We're out, we're done." And he's like, "That's a thumb." And he's like, "No, it's not. It's a finger." She's like, "No, this is a finger." And he's like, "Millie."
Kudos for not showing the finger.
But brilliantly done. It was a nice little bit to have there.
It was one of the few times I was pro Millie. Yeah. Yeah.
So that's a review of Fingerloose.
Yeah, that was good. I think that went well. All right, so from Wonder Wharf, let's jump over to the Great North. Call back to the show title there. This week we had a Keep Beef Leaving. Sorry, it's doesn't come out after. It's so hard to say. Keep Beef Leaving Adventure. Of course, the synopsis being, Moon begins to doubt that Bigfoot exists. So Beef enlists the rest of the family to help make him believe again. Honeybee gets a surprise visitor from Fresno. JB, what were your initial thoughts on this episode?
So after the week off from the Great North, I was actually really excited to see it again. And I'm really starting to warm up to this show. There was a certain period, like the first 2 episodes, where I think where we're starting to meet the characters and get to understand them and like the dynamics was a lot to kind of take in. But I think the sisters finally realized, like, let's wrangle this in and get it really tight by the 3rd episode, because that's when I started to really like, this show's clicking and I love it. And it has a different kind of humor and I just really enjoy it. So this episode I actually really enjoyed as well. I really liked this whole block that they put out. What did you think?
I agree. This one, I wouldn't say hit home for me, because I'm big on like paranormal stuff or cryptozoology type stuff and all that made up stuff. So this one kind of hit home because I realized you got to get to an age where this all kind of seems a little silly. And of course I hit that age, but then my 30s came around. I was like, well, maybe it's not so silly anymore. So hopefully Moon circles back around to believing, which he does by the end of the episode, it sounds like. But I really dug this episode, and it hands down has my favorite ending credits of any show ever.
Oh, the metal? So good.
This death metal Sasquatch pizza song.
I was really curious. Are you familiar with Home Movies and Brendan Small doing
Oh yeah.
Metalocalypse? He's
Oh,
good friends with Lauren, and I'm really curious if he enlisted Brendan to do that. But
ooh,
I could
I
always
didn't see the
check and
name in the
find out.
credits, but
Yeah, I'm gonna
yeah.
have to ask or check, but it definitely had some Metalocalypse vibes, and it was just really cool. Or I'm trying to remember
Yeah,
the
no,
character in Home Movies. He used to do their songs and stuff, and now I'm blanking on his name. But it felt like that.
no, I can't for the life of me, but yeah, no, I definitely a huge fan of Metalocalypse, and Death Clock, all their albums. This episode, it's not my favorite of the season, but I loved Beef's song where he kind of explains how he used to believe in all this stuff, and then he kind of got an adult, and then kind of lost his sense of wonder and sense of excitement for things in the unknown, in the adult zone, I believe he called it. I think we can all relate to that kind of when you stop believing in things that really excited you as a kid, unfortunately. I liked the bee story with a honeybee's brother. I really liked him. Hopefully he becomes a reoccurring character, because I really liked what they were doing with him in this episode, and the energy he brings, and how he just kind of wanted to make people happy, and how he came to that realization at the end there. So
I actually really liked the whole message of this episode. It had multiple messages. Like it had like the becoming an adult and losing those like things you believe in, or those like things that made you so happy as a kid, you kind of let them go as an adult, and kind of like the sadness that Beef was feeling for Moon and that process happening. It was like, it's too early for that to happen to Moon.
yeah.
So I like that he was like trying to reason with that, or like, no, we need to help Moon get that back. It's too early for that. I also liked the honeybee's message with her brother, which was just, he always followed her, because that was, he always would go to like what made her happy, thinking it would make him happy. And I love that the message at the end, he's just like, I need to find out what makes me happy. And I was like,
I like that what made him happy was making other people happy.
Because that kind of made sense. He always did like the pizza surprises and did the things for Honeybee all the time, but he just didn't realize that what made him happy is actually doing nice things for people.
I think that's a struggle that I have myself, because I love doing stuff for people. I love making people happy. I love making sure that everyone else is being taken care of. But I don't know how that turns to, well, how do you make a living out of that? Or how do you do that as an adult or anything, without just coming off as creepy? Like, hey, I'm just going to buy you a pizza because here you go. So I'm glad that they're showing someone in that same position, where like, all you want to do is make people happy. How do you do that? So personally for me, I really enjoyed that.
And the thing I can think that's the closest thing to doing something like what he wants to do is kind of those pizza shops that you can buy a slice for people when they don't have the money. Because the person feels good donating that to someone who needs it. And he said that he gets, the owners usually, whenever I see the interviews, are like super excited when someone comes in, and they're like, they're just a normal person that needs to eat too. And I don't care if they take multiple slices off that wall, they'll fill up again. I'm not worried about that. And it's like, he's like, that makes me happy, is seeing the enjoyment that they get to eat food and get pizza. I was like, so I think there's ways to do it in today's world, but yeah, I don't know how her brother's going to end up managing it in Alaska, but
no, yeah. I know for me, in this personal story, and I'll cut it out if it doesn't fit, but I know the closest I've ever come to being fulfilled as far as that happiness goes was working at a hotel. I mean, you get these tired drivers driving through all the night, and all they need is just a place to stay. They don't need to be raked over the coals as far as prices go. And when you can give them a really good deal, and they're like, oh my God, thank you for helping me. And it's stuff like that. So I'm still trying to find that same happiness, but hopefully we'll get there.
Yeah. Definitely for me, I would say it's making fan art. When people send the images like all framed, or like with their kids holding and stuff, it's huge. Or like it's a wedding like gift, and you're like, oh wow, that is a huge deal.
Right.
But yeah, that's when it feels good knowing that like all these people really enjoyed it.
Yeah, no, definitely. Yeah. But do you think, back to the episode here, do you think at the end they caught a Sasquatch or a Bigfoot?
Well, it's not an what did Moon call it?
Asquatch?
Yeah,
Yes.
it's not that. I definitely think it left the door open because we
Okay.
see it every time in the intro. So
Yeah,
I'm
and
curious if it's there.
and in Beef Song when at the end it came in with the guitar
Yeah,
and
it was
kind
like,
of
"Oh,
slowly
my
backed
bad,"
out.
steps back.
Missed my cue.
But yeah, I
And when
liked that they
Honeybee-
brought in that he never ate the crackers. He thinks they're gross, and he wasn't there the night before.
Yeah. So
So was
hopefully, 'cause
that
we
plaster
see-
cast real?
we see Bigfoot in the opening credits every time, right? So clearly
Mhm.
he's out there. So hopefully this will be a reoccurring thing that we see, or we'll get some kind of closure to it.
I would really like that because I'm also a person who loves this type of stuff. So
Yeah. Let me ask you this: how many? I don't know how we're doing this, but how many Sasquatches do you give this episode?
yeah, I was wondering how we're gonna do this. Like, should we do it like curling stones?
Yeah, or how many Northern Stars or North Stars do you give this episode? Or
How many
snowflakes?
Alanuses do you give this?
Oh, I like that. How many Alanuses do you give this episode?
I really enjoyed this episode because of the amount of like lessons that were in it, and just overall I love the concept of it. I'm gonna give it a 4.5. I thought it was one of their better episodes. One of my favorites this year.
4 or 5. Interesting. That is high. That's
I don't know how that works when you cut an Alanus in half, but 4 out of 5. 4.5s.
All right. So you gave it a 4 or 5, correct?
Mm-hmm.
All right. Well, I like the episode. I like the message. I like the humor. My only knock on it is I wish there was more Will Forte in his character, whose name escapes me at the moment. I apologize. Just because I love Will so much. With all that being said, I think I'm going to give this episode a 4.2 Alanuses. Boop, 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 boop. Again, a really solid episode, and the season just keeps getting progressively stronger. So I really like that. I'm excited to see where it's going to go. I'm also excited to see what other, I don't want to call them barriers, or what other things they're going to tackle. We've already had Ham having his kiss, and stuff like that. So I'm curious if there's any other things that they're going to, I wouldn't say tear down the walls of or break any barriers, but I'm excited to see what they're going to do for the rest of the season.
No, I am too. I'm excited to see what they come up with for this last part of it.
Well, folks, that was the reviews, and we hope you enjoy that. That's something we're going to be doing on a regular basis here. Every episode we'll be reviewing the latest episode, and if there isn't an episode, I believe we may go to classic episode reviews. So if there's an episode you want us to review and talk about, or if you wanted to join us, let us know in the comment section below which episode you'd like us to tackle. And who knows? Next time we have a classic episode review, we may choose yours.
All right, Mr. F, just read from the lines written as it is written. Do not divert, please. Okay. Just a quick swig of bourbon first. Calvin, now! All right, Felix. Settle down. No reason to get mad, you big baby. I'm not a baby. I'm a big boy. Why can't you just... hey, guys, we're recording this, so, keep it short and simple, Oh, okay, yeah. Well, here we go. Yeah. Well, spring is here, everybody. The grass is growing. The sun is out. Oh, remind me to order the blueberries, Felix. You know my favorite batch. Moving on. The smell of hot dogs. The crack of the bat. The cheer of the crowd. Yes, these are just a few of the reminders that your Wonder Dogs are back for Base's Ball. Yes. Come down to Wonder Wharf and enjoy some popcorn, a few beers, and maybe some run-homes. Tickets are on sale now. Bourbon. As well as packages for advertisements. The amazing deals on urinal ads, you know. Looking at you, Mr. Burger, with your mustache. Well, without further ado, Calvin! Play ball.
Hey everybody, it's time for the interview. So let's talk about what we have in store for you this week. So this week we will be interviewing a very good friend, a dear friend. He's been on so many shows that it's honestly hard to remember them all, but just think back to your childhood. I didn't realize that he literally animated most of my childhood and all the shows that I enjoyed. So he has been part of the Animaniacs. He's been part of Pinky and the Brain. He's been part of Angry Beavers, Cat Dog. He's also been part of Bob's Burgers, Central Park, The Great North. He's done it all.
And Invader Zim.
Oh, and Invader Zim. I completely forgot about that one. And I don't know how. It's one of my favorite shows. And he also is a fellow beard aficionado. We could only
much better than mine. But...
And he's got like literally feet on mine. You've seen him blow dry it on Instagram as he prepared for his interview. We wouldn't be talking about anyone else but the great Mario Deanna Jr., the amazing man that he is, in his Hawaiian shirts and his just... He likes bringing smiles to everyone's face, so we were so happy to have him and let him just share his knowledge about the world of animation, how to start, how he got his start, all the stuff that he enjoyed as a kid, and really how some kind of events in his life and childhood, basically from animation, made him who he is. So without further ado, we hope you enjoy this interview with Mario Deanna Jr.
Hey, Mario! Dude, good to see you again. It's been forever.
Yeah, it's been a while.
What was it like being a little Mario?
I was always doodling and drawing, always. I remember in elementary, I remember when Tron came out, and I had this big kick on drawing light cycles. And that's how I learned to draw perspective, because of all the grid stuff and everything. Oh man, that looks great. So it's like, how do I make that work? So I was figuring out perspective in like fourth grade or third grade. Everybody wanted me to draw light cycles. I got bored of drawing light cycles, so I was doing upgrades on light cycles when people asked me to draw them.
Well, what kind of upgrades are you talking about? Like flamethrowers or what?
Oh, I'd stretch them and I'd put more wheels on them, and I'd like two-guy light cycles and all that stuff. I drew a Mayan sacrifice.
Mario.
and I'm looking at this and said, I really did that. I drew a Mayan sacrifice for my book report on Mexico. And you know what? It was beautiful. The guys had gorgeous those feather headsets.
I think we need to end the interview right here. What else is there to talk about?
Light cycles. What other stuff did you like to draw? Or did you draw like Looney Tunes characters? Make your own stuff up? Or
I think it was like every year I had this new obsession. Jaws came out, so I was in the sharks. I was drawing sharks all day long. And then it's like, it wasn't just enough to draw the shark. I had to draw him in his environment. So I had to learn how to draw underwater stuff, how to make it look underwater. And then, it's attacking boats. So I had to figure out how to draw boats from underneath and attack the boats. And then I was into, then Howling came out. And then I was in the werewolves. And I was drawing werewolves all the time. And then I was heavy into Disney stuff for a while. Probably my last year of elementary. I drew the Maleficent dragon holding on to the two castle spires, just like looking down with the green fire coming out and everything. It took me a long time to do that one, but I would get these little obsessions that would get me drawing. I just keep drawing. And then, my folks would go, I can't believe you did this. And I took that with a grain of salt, but I didn't know what was good or not. I didn't care about if it was good or not. And I think that's what kept me drawing. And people say, oh, you suck. Nobody told me I sucked, but I didn't know I sucked or not. I didn't care about if I sucked or not. All I cared about was making it. That's all I cared about. It's like, I'm going to make this, and I'm going to do what I can to make it look like what I want it to look like. I don't care about if I can do it or not. I'm just going to do it. And that's been my mindset. And I think I keep that mindset. It's like, I don't care if I'm not going to succeed at this or not. This is my task. I'm going to do it. And I'll figure it out along the way.
And then when you went to college, you went to the LA Community College. Now, I'm assuming that was for their animation program?
Mm-hmm. They had a great one back then. They had a great art program in general. The whole gambit with life drawing. I took advanced perspective and everything. Animation, cinematography. I took all that.
Good heavens. So you got actually a full film education as well.
What I learned in college was procedure. More about how to make, because I was mostly learning animation. I wasn't doing storyboards or anything like that. I was doing animation pretty much through the whole thing.
Okay.
Storyboards came later, and I started doing storyboards off of college onto another school that I was learning off of, and that's where I started to get into that kind of field. It's that school that I did off of doing college is what got me my first gig.
Did you have a key moment sometime during high school or maybe even like first grade when you decided this is it? This is the career I want to do?
The magnet program that was part of my Fairfax at the time, they offered on Saturdays. It was a few-hour class on animation, and that was being taught by David Brain. He was working on the Disney afternoon shows at that time. I think he was on Chippendale. He was on Chippendale Rescue Rangers at the time, and he also has credits on New Adventures of Winnie the Pooh. But he wasn't just a storyboard guy. He was an everything guy. He was a timer. He was everything. It's like he can do all of it. You're talking about somebody who has very little time to spare. This man spared his Saturdays teaching us kids. I loved it. I didn't miss a Saturday when it was available.
In '95, you worked on Animaniacs, the Steven Spielberg show. How was that as your first gig? How was that like to have that?
It was mind-blowing. I was 23 years old, halfway into college, and I was offered the job to be a cleanup artist at Warner Brothers for Animaniacs. So the decision was, do I refuse it and finish college, or do I take the job? So I said, yep, because the whole idea of me going to college is for this job. So they're already giving it to me, so I think I'm going to do that. Back then, it was all in paper, so you didn't have an undo button. You had an eraser. And your paper could only handle that eraser so many hits. So you had to be pretty good.
How did you land that? I know you said it was like midway through college, but did you know someone, or did you make a short and they saw it, or?
The second school that I did was a guy named Johann Klingler. He set this up with another person that had a comic book shop that was trying to get a comic book happening. He was trying to get a comic book series going, and he wanted to bring some entry-level kids to try to make it. And then Johann, I don't remember exactly how they got together on this, but Johann says, well, I can teach kids. He was another Disney guy doing this on spare time. Because I could teach some kids off the side. I can actually create a little school off the side, and I can get some kids who are serious to do this, and I can help train them up to do this comic. But it evolved into him training them to get these kids in the industry. I sent my portfolio over to the guy at the comic shop. Johann saw it. He liked my work. And then he said, hey, I am doing this school on my spare time, since I may have one more seat for somebody. And I think, I'm willing to give it to you. It's like, it says there was somebody else that was going to have it, but I'd rather give it to you. So I'm like, yeah, I'll do whatever. So I was in this side school of this other Disney animator, Disney guy. At the end of the year, Johann, wife, Norma, she was already a storyboard artist on Animaniacs. And I guess somebody, and Johann knew Rusty Mills was the one of the producers on that show at the time, and I guess he talked to him and says, "Hey, I hear you guys are looking for somebody. He says, yeah, we're looking for cleanup artists or somebody to get in here. Yeah, they said, hey, I know. He says, I have a kid in my class because they knew about Johan's class. He's really good. I think he can cut the mustard with you guys. And he put himself on the line for me. He said, look,
Wow.
he says, if he doesn't do the job well, I'll do it. He told me that too. He says, okay, this is what I told them, you little fuck. You can believe that. I said that because I know you're going to do the job. I know you're going to do it fine. So, I go in there, and of course I had to look my best. So short hair, no beard. I had khakis, and I don't look good in khakis, but I had khakis. I had a dress shirt. I looked terrible. I wore that only that day. I was like, am I hired? Yeah, thank God. It was like, I just took my pants off like a stripper. Just, I was doing revisions at first, so I was just cleaning up other people's stuff. But apparently I was ripping through it because I started taking other people's work on, and then directors were liking what I was doing, and then they trusted me with more notes. And they said, hey, can you fix this? Can you fix that? I fixed this, I fixed that. I took other people's work, I fixed this, I fixed that. And I guess they were trusting me more and more. Al Ziegler was the director that came up to me and says, hey, I think you're ready to do your own storyboard. What do you think? And I go, okay. So what do you got for me? He says, I want you to do your own section of board. You ready to do your own board? And I go, sure. So they gave me the multiplication song. That was my first storyboard in the industry. All the
big one.
Yeah, all the caricatures in it and everything. Yeah, I just figured it out.
Man, what an immense that you have so much freedom to do whatever you want to do there.
Oh, back then though, man, lots of freedom. If they trusted you and they knew you had all your marbles to a degree, they were fine. It's like, yeah, just do this because we know you're not going to go so off page that we're going to have to redo all this work.
So let's move on to how we all first met, and that was through Bob's Burgers. Now you were among the first people to work on that show.
I started on the third episode. It started before I got on.
Did anybody have any kind of feeling that this was going to be such a special show that it would be able to reach 200 episodes and still keep going with no end in sight? And how did it feel working there the first days?
Well, I remember when I was on Neighbors from Hell, we were shutting down for the day, but there's this light on in this office in the back. And I said, what's going on back there? I said, these guys are developing another show. They said, they just got a pilot out, and I guess they like the pilot, so it looks like they're going to greenlight their show. And I go, what's it called? Do you know what it's called? He says, yeah, I think it's called Bob's Burgers. And I go, really? And I go, I said right there, and I go, dude, I would work on that show just for the name.
I'm curious who those two people were.
What do you think they were?
I'm going to guess Lauren is one, but...
Lauren and Jim.
That makes sense. Yeah.
Jim Dotry, but if you don't know people, he's one of the producers of Bob's and also a longtime producer of King of the Hill.
So they started Bob's as I was still on Neighbors from Hell. The Neighbors from Hell ended. So I was like, okay, well, looks like Neighbors from Hell was ending. But they were going to be moving a lot of people, or they were going to start picking out people from Neighbors from Hell to go to Bob's. Because Bob's is already staffing up, but they had just enough seats left. So they called me and they said, we just have another seat left if you want to go on there as a board pack. I go, oh, great. So I got in there, and as Keisuke knows, it was that little building.
Yep.
Little building on Magnolia.
There's a building where you drive past and you never notice it.
It used to be a geriatric hospital.
Wow.
That's why we had our main conference room was called the chapel, because it was a chapel.
Oh, wow.
I can imagine it's like, geriatric hospital? Yeah. How many people do you think died in this place?
So there were ghosts at Bento Box for sure.
Actually, yes. There was some stuff caught on camera.
Really?
Yeah, there was stuff cut on security camera. There's 2 people that actually witnessed it firsthand as they were talking, and then there was a person that just saw on the security camera what happened to his cubicle and said, "I'll never work there late again." It was one particular.
Whoa.
He said there was one particular night that he wasn't working late, and this thing was caught on camera, and I guess security kept it and showed him, "Look at this."
What happened to his cube?
It was all his toys at the top of the cubicle.
They just started falling off, or
no, they just flew off.
Oh,
as somebody just went, somebody went, "I quit." You know, it's like, "I'm sick of being a ghost here. I quit." And there were 2 guys talking, and one guy was on the other side of that reception wall, and one other person. They were just standing there talking, and there's a nameplate on the wall here, and as they're talking, that thing just rips itself off the wall and just goes flying across the room.
Oh, it's such a shame that you had to move that from that office to that big, beautiful, unhaunted space.
I'll tell you, though, I loved that office, though. That old office, I really loved it. It was very homey. No complaints to the big building. It was gorgeous. I knew it was going to be wonderful to get in there.
Would it be fair to say that getting your gig at Bob's Burgers changed your life?
It did. It really did. I didn't know it was going to do it at the time, because I did not know how long. None of us knew how long the show was going to last. We knew it was going to last a while. It was after that second. It was in the 3rd season.
Mm-hmm.
Like 3 or 4 episodes in the 3rd season. That's when Bob's dropped on Netflix, because the ratings for Bob's in the beginning weren't very great, but when it hit Netflix, it exploded. Man, our ratings went through the roof, and it didn't stop. It's like they didn't dip ever. They just kept going up and up and up. There was an award for most outstanding character in TV, and Tina got that award.
Wow.
As the most relatable, the most outstanding character of that time was Tina.
I do remember when I was cast as Hawk and Chick, I realized, holy smokes, I had really lucked out, even more so than I thought I had, in getting into this family that you had over at Bento Box Studios.
You and me both. I was just so thankful to be working in the industry all the years I've been in it. But I saw it for what it was. I said, "Oh yeah, this is great. I like the characters. I like the family. I like the gags. They make me laugh."
When I first started noticing and getting to know who you were, it was from the Facebook group page where you were doing all these mashups. You're famous for this stuff now. You've done Superman versus Batman. You've done the one behind you of Avatar the Airbender where it's Gene. You've done Hawk and Chick ones. You've done all kinds of stuff.
I have 2 or 3. I'm not even finished yet. It's been like that for years. I wish I had more time to do the mashups. I really loved doing it. I did them because I loved doing them, not because I had an agenda or anything. I just said, "Oh my God, this would be funny to do. This would be great to do." Because there was another thing I did on during the mashups. Another thing I did that people loved were my custom Christmas cards that I used to make. I did a cool drawing, for Happy Holidays, and then I had to up the ante every year. It got difficult after a while when I was upping my own. I started doing papercraft. So your cards would turn into things you can build and make. My second card was I made like a Dickens street corner. There were paper doll cutouts you can cut out, and I had little tabs because the card would fold into that street, and you could fold the little folds out so it actually could sit and stand by itself. So it was a Christmas shop with snow, and there was things happening inside the Christmas shop, and then there's little slits you can cut out, and you can put the paper dolls the stand in front of the street. The one I really was proud of was I made when Force Awakens came out, so I made the Millennium Falcon cockpit. And then, of course, make the paper doll seats so you could sit in there. And I was Chewbacca. My wife was Princess Leia. We were sitting in the front, and then the back seats, our pets would sit in the back. And because you could see through the window, I extended the base, and the base extension turned into space. And then you made a card. I made a card that would warp. that you could put through outside into space, and then that would give you the message. So the card says, "May the stars," and Star Wars, and that Star Wars.
That type.
Yeah, the title, the perspective title, "May the stars be merry and bright." And if you didn't want to see that, you could flip it over. And I had Yoda and a sleigh, and the reindeer were just, and the reindeer was just a whole fleet of X-wings.
What I find really extraordinary about you is that you really go out of your way to give all this stuff away to your fans for free. And that's extraordinary. You print, I've seen you do this when you brought me to WonderCon. You printed hundreds of these high quality mashups. We signed them. We spent hours at WonderCon. We hung out with the meetup groups, with all the Bob's fans. We walked around finding more Bob's fans. What made you decide to start doing this, to make high quality art and then just give it to people who love it?
The fans of the show are the lifeblood of the show. And I enjoy working on a show that gives that much joy to these people, and they are willing to give pieces of their life to. I mean, they're willing because they love it. They love it so much. They get together. Stephanie Pandez, who organizes the Bob meetups. And these people get together and they want to revel in this. And it's like, I'm grateful because here I am, and there I was, and here I am to this very day working on the show that gives this much love to people, and just keeps me employed and keeps you employed.
Yeah.
But it's not so much that. It's just I want to express my joy. I want to express my joy on the show, and my thanks to them for loving the show so much. So I did it, and I was happy to do it, and I'm still happy to do it if I just had time to do it. Every time I see somebody post something of mine, I'm always compelled to say, "Man, I wish I can do more." I'm still thankful that people do like it. My earlier stuff, though, I look at it and it's like I cringe. It's like, oh my god!
Don't we all?
Because people are like, oh, that's great, and it's like, no, it's not. When you're the person that makes something like this, all you see are the mistakes.
Yep.
Right.
You just see the mistakes. Everyone says, "Oh, it's great," and it's like, no, it's not. And I start pointing it out, and then they'll go, "Oh yeah, you're right.
It sucks, man. But
It's
that's
awful.
fan art.
Why am I talking to you?"
For this part of the interview, Mario, we're going to go ahead, and we were able to post on the fan group pages asking for questions.
Mario, our first question comes from our good friend Adam Wilson. What is your favorite scene from any of the episodes that you've worked on?
It's a small one, but I like it. It's when Into the Mild, when Bob fell asleep in that what it's supposed to be like a closing down REI kind of camping store.
Mm-hmm.
And he woke up in the tent like, oh my god, I got to get out of here. And that whole scene with him
just the zipper.
Just horribly getting out of this tent. Just it's like birthing himself out of this tent. And that was all stuff I did. And then having to run. So it's just a little thing, but I had the most fun doing that.
Now, I know that animators generally have a mirror to work with if they need to help with getting to expressions and stuff, but you're talking about a whole body thing. So were you actually acting this stuff out in your cubicle as you were drawing it?
Yep. I have, which will probably be something people would like to see. I have an entire database on a hard drive of, because we have, since we're working on Max, we have photo booth. Mm-hmm. So I got to take pictures of me doing expressions and body poses, and it's like, if I can't figure out a body pose, I'll do it, and I'll take a picture of me doing it. If I can figure out a motion, I'll take a picture of me doing the motions. I got a whole hard drive full of stuff like that. So I will show it to you someday.
I cannot wait.
Yes, I want to see these outtakes.
It'll be a great day.
Yeah.
All right,
I mean, yeah, you do what you got to do. It's like if you can't figure it out, do it or find it online. Like, take images and look at videos online. It's all study. It's never ending. It's all life study. You want to make something that that looks just like how it would be done. It's like because that's how it was done. I saw how it was done and I did it.
Which burger of the day is your favorite?
I mean, you're talking about the better pun or just burger in general? Because that baby, can you chive my car just as is?
It looks really good and it is tasty.
That is a really good burger. I mean, that is terrific.
Yeah. Second question comes from Amy Mathis. She starts off with, hello, friend. Obviously, we need to know when we're going to get more Hawk. Please tell them I'm loving all the Hamilton references. And we want to see more. Imagine Teddy rapping Guns and Ships.
I'm trying to whisper in the proper ears to get a Hawk and Chick spinoff going. I'm also I also am begging for a Sergeant Bosco. Sergeant Bosco Police Files. and that'd be a great spinoff. And of course, Banjo has to be made because you got to make the collector set.
Absolutely.
Yeah, you got to do all of it, actually.
There's a whole universe that can be explored any moment.
Absolutely. But man, if they're ready to do a Hawk and Chick spinoff, yeah, I'm a front runner on that one. I'll definitely be.
Next question comes from Kevin Mock, and he says, "What do you love?" Yeah, hi, Kevin. What do you guys love about the fans of your three shows? We're talking Bob's Burgers, talking Central Park, and now the Great North. What do you think of the fans?
Well, like I said earlier, it was why I even did the mashups. I love the love that they give, but I also love the community that they build through the shows. It's not about talking at each other and down or one-upping each other. It's about all reveling in this thing they love together, and they do really make community of it. And that's a beautiful thing.
Yes,
I think. And I think there's a lot of unity to that. And I love the fact that I'm making things that are not toxic and beneficial to people in this world. And it's like that's what I love about the fans on this show, is they're very genuine with each other, and they're very genuine with their feelings with each other. On those fan pages, if they're hurting, they say, "Hey, I'm hurting." And I'm not, and you know how some people, they're looking for attention, so they do that online. But these people they're not looking for attention. They're just saying, "Hey, I feel you're my family. I'm just letting you know I'm hurting." And the pouring of love that goes to everybody, and it is healing, and people understand this and appreciate it, and the community is building because of it.
Dan Young is interested in knowing anything and anything about the movie.
They're talking about holding off for a while until maybe the world opens up again, so we can have that theater gala instead of putting it online. Because I think Lauren would really like to have have it in the theater, and us go to the theater and see it. So I'm thinking that's where they're going.
Yeah, I'm in complete agreement with you that I would want to see this movie in the big screen with hundreds of thousands of other Bob's fans, because you just cannot get that just outpouring of love and emotion while sitting in front of your TV set. Even if your dog is there and your best friend and your wife, it doesn't compare.
And I've been contacted about, hey, when do you think the movie's coming out? And it's like, because we're thinking about setting up a convention or a con around the movie. I hope that happens. I really hope that happens. And yeah, I think that's where they're going with it. So it's now up to how things happen when we open up again.
And there you have it, folks. We hope you enjoyed the first part of our interview with Mario. Unfortunately, I was not able to make it due to my own reasons, which I'm sure you're aware of. So I'm excited to see what we have for part two. That'll be coming up in the very near future, so you're definitely going to want to tune back in. And of course, subscribe to our YouTube channel so you know exactly when that goes up. So again, thank you, JB and K-Skate, for conducting that interview. And we can't wait for you guys to see part 2.
And now a word from our Art Crawl sponsors at Reflections.
Harold, clear your throat. You're always so phlegmy.
All right. All right, let's do this. Wait, did you take your gas pill?
Thanks. All right, let's begin this stupid ad.
Let me guess. You want to create art, right? Craft something you saw in the Tic Tac? Well, look no further for your brushes, paper, needles, fabric, paint, paper.
You already said that.
Oh yeah. Sequins, paper.
Oh my God. The yard sale, Harold.
Oh yeah. We got loads of yarn. Like a truckload. Way more than Yarn Barn.
Oh yes, Yarn Barn. That 2-bit trash heap. No organization. Just random bins of brushes. Employees smiling. All sweet. Disgusting.
Come to Reflections. Come to Reflections. Join a class. Draw a nude. Don't be a prude.
Filth.
Alright, I think that's it.
I'll say, this was a stupid idea, Randy Watkins, director of nothing.
Yeah, you hack!
And welcome back, folks. Typically in episodes past, Fan of the Week and what we're now calling Art Crawl have kind of been one and the same, where we've showcased a person who does a great bento box themed artwork. And we've kind of, again, just smashed it all together. We're actually splitting that up now for 2 different segments. Art Crawl, where we focus on a particular piece of art and that artist, and Fan of the Week, where we highlight a fan. Not necessarily an artist or anything, but just a fan that we really love and we want to kind of give a shout out to. So this week, I'll be tackling the Art Crawl piece.
Take it away, Mike.
Thanks, JB. This week on Art Crawl, we are actually giving a huge shout out to, on Instagram, her handle is _Melissa_Lashley. This is Melissa Thompson. She actually did a commission piece, which is a set of dominoes that are Bob's Burgers themed. So they're yellow dominoes with, I think it's glitter on the inside of the resin itself. And the numbers and the lines within the dominoes themselves are actually red. So it looks like a traditional Bob's Burgers color scheme. One side has the numbers and all that, and the other side actually says Bob's Burgers on it. And of course, we'll post photos here, and we'll also post photos on Instagram. She does commission pieces. Her reads, ICU charge nurse, fur mom, lash slinger, and crafter. If you go to her Instagram page, she actually has a link to her site. I believe she's taking commissions, but you'll have to message her to find out, of course. She does an amazing job. She's also done a set of dominoes. Apparently she gets a lot of commissions for like nerdy stuff that we love so much. I know I found the Bob's Burgers one, but she's done other ones in the past. The top quality stuff. It looks amazing. I want to order a set myself. I don't know how to play dominoes though. But yeah, it can't be that hard.
It's not.
So yeah, definitely. Again, on Instagram is _Melissa_Lashley. That's LASHLEY. Go ahead and check it out. Hit her up if you want your own set, and let us know, or let her know that From North to Wharf sent you.
Yeah.
Again, thank you again to Melissa Thompson. This week's Art Crawl.
Well, thank you, Mike, for that first edition of Art Crawl.
Absolutely. And let's throw it over to JB for this week's Fan of the Week.
So how we are going to be doing Fan of the Week for our first, well, all of them, is we like to look on the Facebook groups because we have so many friends on there and so many people that post there because it's 97,000 people are on there right now. It's a big group.
Yeah, there's a lot.
So we skimmed through there, and I just saw this one go up about 8 hours ago, and I was like, it's a good message. And honestly, we should give a shout out to someone like this. So our fan of the week is a shout out for Monica Morton. She actually just got remarried. She lost her initial bob 6 years ago, but found another bob that just is perfect, just matched perfectly. So I'm very glad that she found a new bob and that she's very happy with this. And I'm very excited for them.
I wish them the best.
All right. So again, Monica Morton, you are our first fan of the week.
Two people together forever, security in life, and someone to love ya.
Okay, folks, so that's actually going to wrap it up for this very first, I guess, episode of this new iteration of From North to Wharf. Thank you again for everyone who checks us out, who subscribes, who follows us on all our social medias. We can't thank you enough for sticking with us this far. JB, if they want to get a hold of us beyond the show, how do they do that?
So there are plenty of ways to get a hold of us because we have no life and we're on social media all the time. So there are numerous ways to reach us. We are on Instagram at North To Wharf. We are on, you can even email us at fromnorthtowharf@gmail.com. We're on, Instagram. We're on Twitter, which is North To Wharf. And we're on iTunes and Spotify now, and that's From North To Wharf.
Yes.
Yeah. So yeah, if you just want to listen to us,
and SoundCloud.
Yeah, if you want to listen to us just on your commute to work, or if you're on a bus like I am to get to work, it's great. It's perfect because that's about the same time as an episode. So check it out. Did I miss any, Mike? I feel like I always miss one.
If you're on Facebook, just search From North to Wharf. We're there as well. Like JB said, we are now officially, as of last week, on Spotify, Apple Podcasts. Just search from North to Wharf on those. If you're on SoundCloud, it's From North to Wharf on there as well. The audio versions of the video you're watching now will be what are on the podcasts. So if you can't watch the video, like JB said, just download the episode and give us a listen there.
Awesome. So again, thank you guys, everybody, for coming out. We appreciate it. We hope you enjoyed this episode. Let us know if there's anything you'd like to see differently, or if you liked this new iteration, or if there's things that you're waiting to see, like new commercials or stuff like that. Let us know. We'd love to hear from you. Either comment below or just reach out to us on social media.
Absolutely. And let us know what you thought of these last two episodes from this week. We'd love to hear. Did we miss something? Is there something we should have covered? What do you think of the hands? Let us know.
What do you think of Sasquatch / Bigfoot?
Not real.
Yeah, maybe it is, Mike.
We'll agree to disagree, I suppose. Or we'll pick this up next week.
Yes. And we should probably announce, if you want to see some of our older guests, check out some of the older episodes as well. We've got, let's see, how many do we have now? We have 7 episodes.
6 past episodes. This will be episode 7, I believe.
So yeah, go ahead and check those out. We have some great people that are on there. And next week, we're going to be showing Joel Moser's part 2. So be sure to check that out. If you didn't get part 1, check it out. He talks about being with Bojack and Big Mouth and then transitioning over to Bento Box.
And the link to that episode will be in the description below for easy click and access there. So definitely check that out. And for myself and JB, this has been From North to Wharf, and we will see you next week.
See you guys.
Sup, chumps? Just kidding, just fooling around.
Gotta knock these bozos' wieners off.
Some sort of beast has entered our boat.
Data, for the love of God, turn away or stop!
From the Great North to Wonder Wharf. All right.